Hi, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Today is Wednesday, October 9th. Very excited to hang out with you tonight. We are going to continue all things newcomers. So grab whatever you need to get comfortable and cozy, and I'll see you back here in about 30 seconds. Hi. I am very excited to hang out and catch up in life. October, as soon as October hits, I feel like everyone's just so exhausted, and I feel you. Tonight's topic is going to be language captures that can help and support newcomer students, excuse me, but also good for everybody. But before we start with that, can I show you something that I bought recently at Five Below? It's like one of those like a mini vending machine thing. And then it was like empty, but it was $5, but you like put a bunch of stuff in it. So I found these little tiny erasers on Amazon. And then you like pull this. It's not really coming out because I think they're all jammed. You have to shake them up a little bit. But you pull it, and then it gives you like erasers, and then you pull it out of the drawer. It's so cute. But I'm like, I could think of like 3 different ways that I might use this with students. But I'm curious to hear what are some ways you might use this. I love little things like this, and I love like that kind of challenge question for all of us, especially this time of the year where we're stressed and like we're in survival mode. That's sometimes when creativity can suffer because we're just treading water, right? So I would love to hear if you have any thoughts or ideas about how we can use that. Before we hop into our content, friendly reminder, the Multilingual Illinois Conference is going to be in Tinley Park this December. Registration is now open. I'm so excited for that. It's going to be so good. Okay, so tonight's topic is language capture. So these are different ways for us to capture language during instruction, in the moment, alongside of our students, that are going to be supportive of our newcomer students, but also beneficial to everybody else in class. That includes students at higher proficiency levels who are multilingual learners, and also monolingual kids, right? Because we always say everybody is growing in languaging, but we do want to be particularly mindful of how we're supporting newcomer students alongside everybody else. And it doesn't have to be something that we do beforehand, and it doesn't have to be something we do that's separate for just a particular group. These are things that you would have done, like, or that you would do in the moment with everybody. So these are language captures. I'm hopeful that by this weekend I have a document that kind of walks through all these things. I am hopeful that by this weekend I will be able to get that on my blog. So fingers crossed. We'll see what happens here. So the first piece is one that I've talked about many times, is a word, phrase, sentence, question bank. This can be something, all of these structures are things that you can do during instruction. So if you have more than one adult in the classroom with you, whether it's like a co-teacher or even a paraprofessional or even a parent volunteer, whoever it might be, put them to work, right? Maximize having 2 adults in the room. So while the lesson is unfolding, and if like the 2 adults in the room are not standing up co-instructing at that moment, one person might be capturing language. Now this can be done like while the video is playing or while the lesson is going. There might be another adult over here that's doing this like on a whiteboard for everybody to see, or they might be doing this digitally and making it available like in Google Classroom or Seesaw, whatever the online platform is that you use. Or it can be done on paper pencil. And literally all it is you make a little T chart. Well, it's not really a T chart because it's bigger than a T, right? But you have words, you have phrases, you have sentences, and then you have questions. And while the lesson is unfolding, you are being a listener and you are capturing keywords that are important to the content and important to the languaging of the content, key phrases that have probably been repeated or that the student would need to utilize in a next step, either through reading, writing, listening, or speaking. Full sentences that either you have heard, and of course it's okay to paraphrase, or that a student might need, again, to navigate the content. And the questions one, you could leave blank, certainly, or you could generate, like, these are questions that we had answered today during the lesson, or these are questions that another, seventh grader might ask about today's lesson. Or I could also build in like comprehension questions, but that's not really the purpose of this as a tool. So I'm capturing all this language during the video, during the lesson, during the experience. And then when it's over, now it stays up either on the whiteboard or in that digital platform or on a piece of paper. And I put this on the table and it's available to students. So it becomes like that language capture that can serve as a scaffold as students move into their next activity. So again, that might be like small group. It might be independent writing. It might be a text that they're going to read, whatever it might be. Okay. So that's a word, phrase, sentence, question, bank. Easy peasy, in the moment language capture. The second one is a teacher-led sketch note. I know some of us are really, really into sketchnoting. I would like to be. I just haven't given myself enough time and opportunity to like play with that and develop those sketchnoting skills. There's a lot of really great tools online if you are interested in kind of developing that for yourself. But again, this could be one of those moments where a video is playing or a lesson is unfolding, and I am standing up and capturing it for everybody on a whiteboard, an anchor chart piece of paper, or just a single piece of paper. Or if you have like a cool digital thing, you could do it digitally as well. But this is a way for us to capture some of the key ideas and language pieces. What's great about a sketch note is it's very like visual based, right? So it's a combination of drawings and doodles and also some languaging pieces. What's great about this is it's a very good capture of like a whole thing, right? And then again, that stays out as a scaffold. That might be something that you do eventually alongside students, or it might be something that you do like for this trimester, and the next trimester you have students start to play with that skill. It's really, really nice, though, I will say, if you're able to do this as the lesson is unfolding in front of everybody. So even if you are just the one teacher in the room, you could totally do this. And this is a great way for us to pause the lesson. So we're chunking content, capturing a quick idea or a quick doodle to represent that idea. And then we're going to move on. So that way the kids are seeing that process modeled in front of them in real time. They might then decide, I'm going to go ahead and start doing this while Mrs. Spina is doing it, because then again, they see that unfolding. They watch the skill in action, and then it stays up as that capture of learning. Eventually, you could have students kind of shift and have them lead some of that sketchnoting. So this is a really cool thing to do as a collaborative structure, especially like, each table has either like an anchor chart piece of paper or just a piece of like computer paper. Everyone or every table has that, or every partnership has that, and they both contribute, or they all contribute while the lesson's unfolding. This is also a great moment to share after the learning is unfolding, or like has unfolded. And you could like have folks share, like, do any of the groups want to just kind of share out what they captured and why, or maybe just share what you captured and that's it. You don't even go any deeper than that. Or you could totally have this as like a gallery walk opportunity once everybody's done kind of listening or reading or taking in that learning. We're working on that expressive language and capture. And then we do a gallery walk of just seeing how different groups captured the same information. That could be a really cool discussion if there's time for it. But again, really great structure. What's nice about sketchnoting is it can become a structure that they carry in, like the students carry into other content areas, because it's a great way for us to wrap our mind around like what is most essential in a lesson. So love it. Again, I need to devote more of that skill for myself to develop. But I see a lot of really cool things online. Another nice one is a tri-level STEM bank. I have this template that is on my blog. If you search, I think if you just type in tri-level STEM bank, I think it comes up. I'll double check. But it has like a little blurb at the top for teachers. And then there's like spaces here for us to capture like our key vocabulary words from whatever the content area is. And then I have it broken down so that there's like a level 1 section, a level 3 section, level 5 section. And this serves as a like just a capture tool for teachers so that as we're thinking of ways to support the speaking, the writing, the representing for our students, they can embed that academic language and or that content specific vocabulary into their stems and frames. So I have it broken down intentionally so that there is like a newcomer facing spot. And then kind of like, I would say this is kind of like our run of the mill stems and frames that a lot of us are accustomed to creating. And then the last one says level 5, and you'll know, right? Like in Illinois, our exit number is 4.8 composite. So you might be like, well, Carly, they might not need a stem, but they might. So a level 5 stem would be like, we get super linguistically stretched, linguistically playful, linguistically creative. We use words in that one that no kid in our class or school would ever naturally use. So in this example that I have on my blog, the word is quotient as like a math sample. A level 1 student might just have a full complete sentence using that word. This is the quotient, and they have to point to it. Great. They're still held accountable to utilizing that word. We're not changing it. We're not saying, oh, quotient is too hard for you. Just say the word answer. No. All of us can and should use the word quotient because that's the grade level content vocabulary word that we're working on. Then we have that level 3 one. So I just said, I have found that the quotient is, okay, fill in the blank. And then the level 5, I have concluded that the quotient in this equation is. Probably no kid in my 3rd grade class would naturally lean into that. So I have it captured there because I want to stretch the languaging of everybody, right? Help us all grow and kind of stretch beyond in our language abilities. So this could be like one of those things where if I am listening to a lesson in real time, again, this is really powerful if there's 2 folks in the room, like 2 adults in the room. While something is unfolding, I'm getting all this captured. I could take this and then like transfer, if we're working on the word numerator today, I might just list out these stems on the board and call it a day. Or I might list out 2 sets, just depends on whatever it is we're doing. But then the students have, right, those options to support them as they are engaging with that vocabulary word, as they speak, they write, they represent. So this can also be used in team meetings. I would absolutely recommend that because this could be a tool that absolutely builds capacity on our teams for developing really high quality sentence stems and frames. Okay, so that is that one. Another really good capture system is when we do this kind of like a foldable activity. And I like to do these when I go to schools and districts and I lead workshops. Sometimes I'll ask folks to set up a collaborative capture, a collaborative note-taking structure. So this is one of them. And it's not anything wild or fancy, and you've probably used something similar. But what's great about these is you can incorporate color. I love Astro Brights papers. You just get 3 pieces of paper or 2 or however many you want. You line them up a little bit. For me and my heart, I like when I use color paper, but I know also that can get expensive after a while. And then we just fold it. So now you can see all these different tabs. What I do when I do trainings is I offer like almost a menu of different ways, or like almost like labels, right? That you would capture your thinking from the day, the lesson, the week, or even the unit, depending on grade level and how long stuff is. So for this one, it says ideas I have for us, ideas to share, follow-ups, funny quotes from my table, because again, I do this in trainings, hashtagable moments, and then wonderings and questions. So I ask folks to like pick from the menu, and then they label. And then as they do that, so if they say, oh, this is an idea that I want us to do as a team, they have that space to capture it. And then maybe they have like a list of follow-ups. Like if I'm sharing tech tools during my session, like a workshop, they might say, oh, I want to follow up with my tech coach about, this particular tool, or I have a follow-up question for like our math department lead, whatever it might be. So a little foldable is super nice. You could also do this in a way where you like set up, you give all the students or all the different tables in your room an anchor chart paper or a piece of paper, and you have them just make like fold it into, so there's 4 sections. And then same thing, I offer a menu of different things, different ways that you might capture your learning during that lesson. And then kids can pick from the menu and label each part. And then they kind of have a group capture system. So again, could be on a piece of paper, could be on an anchor chart paper, whatever, doesn't matter. So those are all a few different capture systems. And again, like I said, I'll try to get all of these. I have a document that has all of these. So I'll try to get that up on my blog, in addition to the tri-level STEM bank as well. But if you have different capture systems that are supportive for newcomer students, please let us know. Oh, and I just realized I didn't include this one here. Let me add this one here real quick. Listening bingo. Listening bingo is one that I often talk about in a lot of my workshops, or having some type of listening guide. I think is wonderful, but we don't have to do this in advance. You can absolutely do it in real time with students. All you need to do is distribute a blank bingo board, right? Just like on a piece of paper. And this could be something that you give to every single kid or every table. But then as students are like, and you would put like a word bank or even a phrase bank on the board of like, what is the languaging that we've been working on in this content area for, the past week or whatever it might be. So kids now sit down, they take a look at the list. That could be a list that we all generate together as a class too. So again, it saves down on prep time. And then it's more meaningful because it's being generated by the kids themselves who have been taking part in all the learning so far. So then they all go in and just fill in their blank bingo board from what we've just generated. You could also do these digitally too. I have a favorite like virtual bingo generator thing, but you don't even have to use that. Less prep, better, right? So kids all fill it in. And then as they now listen or view or read, they have some language to look for or listen for during the learning. If I'm a newcomer student, I might just be listening and checking it off as I hear it or as I think I hear it. If I am a student at a higher proficiency, I might be annotating like in the, in the margins and in the sides of the bingo board. As I hear that word, I might be doodling. I might be taking a note. If I'm a student at like middle level of proficiency, if I happen to know that word in my heritage language, maybe I'm making heritage language links. Or maybe I'm formulating some sentences using some of those words based on the context of like how it popped up in our lesson. So that's a kind of a fast rundown of all these different types of language captures that can be really beneficial for newcomer students, but also that you can do with everybody in your classroom, regardless of proficiency level. So if you have a capture system that you love and that you use, please leave it in the comments so we can all continue to grow and learn from each other. And thank you all so much for hanging out with me. I will be back next week with another Wind Down Wednesday. Have a great night.